So now the question is that on part 2 of this is, how do you decide a good investment or not? So how do you do that? Well, the first thing is that you always look at what location you want to be in for this investment property. So for example, a lot of times, I'd say, okay, what about school districts? So if you're going to have renters and they have children, maybe they're going to worry about parks and maybe school districts. A lot of people, they want to feel like they're in a convenient location, something they can afford, and it's also very convenient to shopping and other things. So you think like that, because when you do buy an investment, you get the best location you can afford, and then you bring the interior up to the condition that you think would be nice enough that you would like to live in, and then you provide that service in lieu of pay, right? And so then once you find a tenant, you sign a lease with them, and hopefully if you take good care of them and everything, it turns out to be a good relationship. Now, many times when people are thinking about getting into this, the first thing they think about is the phone's going to ring all hours of the night. And that's not true, though. Obviously, if you have an answering machine or voicemail, it's just going to go to voicemail. And many times, if you're super handy, it's great because you save money. But if you're not super handy, you have to have a few phone numbers to be able to call. Let's say the furnace or air conditioning goes out. Randomly, things like that, they do happen. It doesn't happen very often. And so you call the HVAC person or the shingle, fix the shingle. There's a leak in the shingle. And so then you don't really have to do that. You just hire someone to do that. And so it's not that big of a deal, really. It's just more thinking about you're going to have calls all the time, and that doesn't happen. The other thing is that you're constantly, replacing things in the house that cost lots and lots of money. And that's not the case either. If you think about a furnace or a water heater, electric, shingles, things like that, they usually last many, many years. So as long as you take care of them and get them serviced, it's a solid investment. Now, over the course of time when you do this, you're trying to say, okay, how do I know this is a good investment? So like I said, the location's number one. Number two is, are there comparable properties that have sold in the last 6 to 12 months to help you understand if the price they're asking for that investment property makes sense or not? And then the other thing is, sometimes they're already rented. And if they are, you look at what the rents are, and are the rents low, medium, or high? So for example, let's say, the rental property that you're interested in buying, the current owner that's selling it's had it for many, many years. The rents are real low, the house needs updated, or the duplex or the 4-unit. So at that point, there's potential there. So you could enhance the house quality and value and provide the service to the tenants where they're paying more money. So it makes it worth your investment versus leaving the money in the bank earning hardly nothing. So when you look at the location and you're trying to decide all this, so the market analysis, which is the comparable market at sale of another property to give you an idea what they're selling for, that gives you a baseline. The second way to look at it is what's called a cap rate. So the cap rate would be, let's say you're looking at the numbers of a property you're thinking about buying, and you see the asking price, you see what the rents are, you see what the expenses are, like taxes and insurance, maintenance fees, and things like that. What you would do is you would take the gross income of the rental unit, and that would be your gross income. And in some cases, you have coin-operated laundry machines that might generate a little extra revenue. So that would be your total gross income. And then you subtract, the annual debt, which would be your taxes, your insurance, maybe water, sewer, and trash. So whatever as an owner you would pay for, lawn maintenance, snow removal, you would then subtract that from the gross income, and then what's left is considered the net income. So if you divide the net income by what you think would be a fair rate of return, so let's say 9% makes sense. Now, if you're in a part of the town where you got to go collect the rent and it's a pain in your side, you might expect a higher return, like 12 or 13%. So what you do is you take the gross income minus the expenses, give you the net income. You divide that by the rate of return you think you should be getting. So let's say 9%, for example purposes. You take the net income, divide it by the percent, 9%. That would then tell you a sale price. So for example, if you do the math, you'll say, wow, they're asking X. Based on this formula, I should be paying less, and that's true. So that's a secondary way to figure out value as an investor. Now, part of the speculation part is understanding asking price, what the current rents are, and the current condition. Because many times, one example might be, I'm getting $600 a month rent. It's been getting $600 a month rent for several years. And I look at the property, I look at the market, I say, you know what, I think we can get $1,100 a month. So I can double that. And so in a case like that, you can then understand that the numbers are off a little bit because you can spend a few $1,000s enhancing the unit and moving the rent from $600 to $1,100 a month. And that's a sweet rate of return, which you'll hear them say ROI. So that's the cap rate. So that would be the secondary way of figuring it out. And then the third and final thing I would talk about is that if this is something that you or your family, you want to think about doing, you want to reach out to a professional that understands the market. And you can reach out to me anytime. And my number is 330-418-1535. That's Dominic Fonte and Associates. We've been in the business for over 34 years, helped 2,300 families go through the process. So we're very astute to what your needs will probably be, and we can educate you in a way that'll see if this makes sense to you or not. And if it does, you move full speed ahead, because we always like informed decision makers so that you're happy with your decision and you'll recommend us. If you'd like to see our more than 360 5-star reviews, go to DominicFonte.com and check out the reviews. You'll get a sense of what you'll experience working with us. We operate with the heart of a teacher. We want to make sure we're always helping you do the right thing. I hope this video finds you well. Thanks for tuning in.